Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing another Boson NetSim lab. I'm Benjamin Williams, and today we're still in the infrastructure section within Boson. We're working with STP or Spanning Tree Protocol today. So let's go ahead and get into our lab objectives. So our lab objective is to observe the default spanning tree, configure spanning tree protocol, STP, and verify the spanning tree configuration for this lab. You'll be responsible for configuring all 4 switches. So this is our lab topology. We have P1 PC1, which is right here. We have P2 PC2, which are PC workstations, so we can see that. We have P1 A switch 1 and P2 A switch 2, which are access layer switches. We see both of those. And we see P1 D switch 1 and P2 D switch 2, which are distribution layer switches. We see those 2 down here. So it says the access and distribution layers are 2 of the 3 layers in the Cisco 3-tier layer hierarchical network model, which also includes the core layer. The topology diagram below represents the net map in the simulator. So we can see that we have our VLAN 11 PC over here, and we have our VLAN 12 PC over here. So they're on 2 different subnets within 2 different VLANs. We can see that with the VLAN IP addresses down here as well. So our last lab that we did a lot of spanning tree configuration. It actually took me 2 videos to upload that one. But this one looks like it is pretty short. It just looks like we're going to be running a few commands and looking at the output from that and answering these questions. So let's go ahead and get into our lab task. So we're going to keep our topology top left. We're going to be reading our lab task top right, and we're going to be doing our configuration with the CLI down here at the bottom. Let me refresh this one good time because it's not allowing me to see the CLI when I hit enter. All right, now we're good. So right here, it says, note, if you loaded this lab after completing a previous lab, please exit NetSim and restart the application and load the lab first. Okay, yeah, we started out in NetSim, so we don't have to worry about that. Right here, on P1 D switch 1, issue the show spanning tree VLAN 1 detail command to display the spanning tree for VLAN 1. Use the output to answer the following questions. So let's go on P1 D switch 1. Let's bring that switch up. Let's do an enable, and let's do a show spanning tree VLAN 1 detail. Okay, so we're going to be using this output right here to answer these questions. So for A, we see which spanning tree is VLAN 1 executing. Excuse me. So we can see right here that VLAN 1 is executing the IEEE compatible STP. So we're running regular STP for VLAN 1. So let's go ahead and put that down. We're running IEEE compatible. And I just got my iPad. I'm going to write all of the answers in my iPad. Spanning tree protocol. And I'm starting to feel a little bit under the weather. Got a little cough going on. But we're definitely going to knock out this video. It's not going to stop us from doing this video. Right here it says, what are the priority, system ID, and MAC addresses? So our priority is 24,576, excuse me. Our system ID is 1, and our MAC address is 00C14613123. So let's go ahead and write that down. So we have a priority of 24,576, system ID of 1, and our MAC address is 00C14613123. Alrighty. Got that answer down in the iPad now. Why is there no root port? So if we take a look right here, we can see that D switch 1 is the root bridge for VLAN 1. So we know that all root ports on the root bridge are designated ports in our forwarding. So that's why we do not have any root ports on the root bridge. So for C, we're going to say because switch switch, D switch 1 is is root for VLAN 1. Okay, so let's go to D. Now it says, why are there no block ports for VLAN 1? And we're going to go ahead and write the same thing because that's why there are no block ports, is because D switch 1 is the root bridge and all ports on the root bridge are designated ports. So let's put the same thing, because switch D switch 1 is root bridge for VLAN 1. All right, let's go to E. Alrighty, let's put our iPad right back there so we can see our answers. For E, it says, what is the timer values for sending bridge protocol data units? So we see that we are sending hello BPDUs every 2 seconds. So let's go ahead and write that. 2 seconds. And we're going to go ahead and write F2, because I believe F is going to be up. It's asking us what is the maximum age for BPDUs. We can see that the maximum age is right here in the CLI, says 20. So let's go in and put 20 seconds. And for G, let's go ahead and answer that one while we have the iPad in our hands. It's saying, what is the value for the forward delay timer? And we can see that is right here with 15 seconds. So let's go ahead and put 15 seconds. All right, let's go to task number 2 right here. It says, on P2 A switch 2, issue the show spanning tree VLAN 1 detail command to display the spanning tree to display spanning tree for VLAN 1. Use the output to answer the following questions. So let's bring up P2 A switch 2 to bring that up. All right, let's do an enable to go into privilege exec, and let's do a show spanning tree VLAN 1 detail. All right, let's use this output to answer the following questions. What is the priority, system ID, and MAC address? So let's start out with A. The priority, as we can see, is, I highlighted the wrong thing. The priority is 32,768. The system ID is 1, and we can see the MAC address 00C 1380-3538. So that is our priority, system ID, and MAC address. So let's write that down. 32,768, system ID of 1, and MAC address is 00C 1380-3538. All right, let's put that right there. What is the priority and MAC address of the root bridge? So the root bridge priority and MAC address is right here highlighted. It's 24,576, and it's the MAC address of D switch 1. We know that because if we look even right here, that is what we wrote down. So we know that is D switch 1 it is referring to. So it has a priority of 24,576 and a MAC address of 00C 1461 3123. All right, let's go to C. It says, what is the root port? Right here. So let's figure out where our root port is. Our root port is right here. It says our root port is 2, which is fast Ethernet 01. So let's write that down. Root port is 2. And we see fast Ethernet 01. Okay. D is asking, what is the cost for using the root port? We can see the cost for using the root port is 19 right there. So let's put that down. It is 19. Let's go to E. It says, what are the configured values for hello time, maximum age, and forward delay? So we can look right here, right here, and see that the hello is for 2 seconds. The max age is 20 seconds, and our forward delay is 15. So let's do 2, 20, and 15 to answer that question. And let's go ahead and move on to F, which is asking, are those the timers that are in effect? Why not? And no, those timers are not in effect, even though they're the same as D switch one, which is the root bridge, and they are not in use because it uses the timers for the root bridge. So I'm going to go ahead and say no, because it is not the root bridge. Alrighty, let's put an iPad right here and go ahead and check our answers before we end this video, because there was no configuration in this video. So let's just check our answers, what Boson says. So let's go right here. For A, for number 1, it says VLAN 1 is executing the IEEE spanning tree protocol, which is what we put right here. So that is correct. For B, it was asking us the priority that was configured, the system ID, and the MAC address. And it looks like we got all of those correct right here. So we got 24576, a system ID of 1, and the same MAC address. For C, we put there are no root ports because this is the root bridge. We put that right there. So C is correct. For D, we put there are no block ports for VLAN 1 because it is the root bridge and all ports are designated. So we put that right there. We said because the switch D switch 1 is the root bridge. So that's correct. Moving on to E, we see that the hello time for the BPDUs is every 2 seconds. We put that right there. The maximum age is 20 seconds. We got that down. And the forward delay was 15 seconds. And we got that down right here. So those are correct. Let's go ahead and move on to number 2 and scroll down to the answers. Okay, it was asking us the priority, system ID, and MAC address. We got 32768, system ID of 1, and the same MAC address. So that matches up right there. The root bridge priority and MAC address, we have that down right there. So that matches up. Our root port cost was 2, which we put right here, and it was the fast Ethernet 01. Or our root port is 2, not our root cost. Our root path cost is actually right here, which is 19, which we have for D. So that's correct. It asked us for the BPDU hello times, maximum age time, and forward delay time for E, which was 2, 20, and 15, which we got right there. And it says these timers are not in effect. The timers that are in effect are the timers advertised by the root bridge. And we put no because it is not the root bridge. So we know that those timers right here are not going to be in effect. So we didn't do any configuration, but let's just go ahead and hit grade. Got everything correct. Got all of our answers right as well. So thank you guys for watching this one. And I'll see you in the next one.